Hi everyone, we have a very interesting live today, and I have with me Ms. Revati Khan, who is the Chief Design Officer at Titan Company Limited. She is a design and innovation strategist with over 15 years of experience in design and thinking with diverse domains. She is a marketing veteran and a firm believer of disruption with design and excited about how design can impact and elevate lives. So I'm going to once again add Revati to the live and we'll take it forward from there.
Oh, hi.
I think the live just ended for some reason. It abruptly went
Yeah,
off. So
sure.
coming back to our first question, how did you find your space in this industry, and how did you make a mark in the male-dominated industry of jewelry and watches?
I've worked with this wonderful company called Titan for so many years. My first
Yeah,
company, first job, and in different roles, Titan gave me this fabulous opportunity. Worked as a market researcher, marketeer, international markets, and then finally design chose me. 15 years back, when I got this
yeah,
opportunity, I was not really even sure that I'm going to really enjoy it, but I think that was the best decision in my life. My passion is really to add value to business through design. And, today at Titan, design plays a very integral and strategic role in business. So it's been a fabulous journey. And, all the fantastic products you see, the watches, the jewelry, the eyewear, the accessories, and all that you see under our various brands are all conceived and created at our Titan Design Excellence Center. So that gives me a great high, and it's fantastic doing that. Coming to the second part of your question, which is the
yeah,
interesting one, Prerna, I have seen in the last 1 decade, there have been so many women leaders, women disruptors who have
yeah.
done very well for themselves in this, in the field of design or in the field of startups or in the field of banking, do you name it? And women have broken this so-called glass ceiling in the so-called male-dominated world. And I
That's true.
think it's now become a cliche. Women are everywhere and they're really making a mark. And if you ask me, I sincerely think, according to me, there are just three things which makes it happen. For me, it is sincerity, really being sincere with what you want to achieve. Being ambitious is a very important ingredient. And the third and the most important thing is the willingness to take risk. And I think a great combination of these three would give us the rightful place where we all truly deserve to belong.
That is true. I mean, that's a great combination, for any kind of business. And I think I truly respect you for that fantastic,
Thank you.
giving us that insight into it. So tell me, I mean, since we were speaking about trends, what according to you are the ongoing trends, and what will be the emerging trends in space of jewelry and watches?
Yeah, so as we are moving into this whole kind of a hybrid setup, hybrid environment, if I were to say, so I
Mm,
strongly believe that the virtual and the in-person, the real, will continue to coexist. So some of
that's
the
true.
trends which made big impact in 2020, like whether it was a minimalism, and I'm talking in the context of jewelry, it was minimalism, which was also driven by about the keyboard dressing. They really became very prominent.
Mm,
And hence the answer to those were, of course, certain categories which really gain categories like the earrings or
mm,
the neck pieces, which are really visible in a virtual or a digital world became very important. And I believe that that will continue to remain for a while. And
mm.
and here I would just like to mention that at Titan, we have just a campaign running called Stunning Every Year. So you go
Okay.
to Titan
Mm,
store, Tanish stores, and you will get to see a great range of earrings we have created, be it a cuff or a hoop or a huggy or a chanmali or a jhumka or a suidaga, you name it. You will
yeah,
find it all under one roof. We have decided to
fantastic.
celebrate this one category in a big way. So this is just an example of how we are taking this trend so seriously and kind of
Yeah.
bringing the best for our consumers. So that's about jewelry, and that's something which will continue to exist even as we come out of COVID. Talking about watches and wearables, the other mega trend which has been
Mm,
very important in 2020, and we believe that it will continue to be important, is all about wellness. And I'm sure
yeah.
you would have experienced yourself. The whole thing about wellness is the mental wellness, the physical well-being, which is leading. I mean, a lot of
Everything.
Indians
Yeah.
today I've taken to a lot of sports, exercising, and doing multiple things, and certainly looking for devices which would track the performance, share it with friends, and all of that. And hence this whole category of wearables. It's become big, it's become important, and people are looking at specialized function. So Titan launched Track, for example, a smart watch which
Yeah,
clearly caters to the specific needs of whichever sport you're performing, and
yeah,
there is fast
that's
track
true.
reflex which helps you track. So some of these trends which started off in 2020 will continue to gain momentum, and this is how we believe it will impact these categories
That's true.
during the near
I
future.
myself used to wear fast track for the longest time. I remember there used to be this one big dial with a yellow and black strap, and I used to
Oh,
really
okay.
love it because so it was just like funky, and at the same time it made a statement, you know.
Right, right. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
It's a big.
since we're talking about this whole bold and less is more look, tell me a little about what are your thoughts when it comes to less is more or quality over quantity? Do you believe and observe that, in this particular 1 year, customer behavioral has changed towards, buying things or, towards different kind of price points? What do you think about that?
Absolutely. I think, this has been such a fundamental shift which happened last year. Less is more. And, being very conscious of what you're consuming and the whole thought about sustainability, slow
Mm,
fashion, and a whole new perspective has come about this whole thing. But, we live in a very dynamic world, and things are changing every day. So let's say
yeah,
a few months back when we were in the middle of the second wave, and all of whatever all of us were going through and the world was going through, we were in a totally different state of mind. The
that's
whole
true.
we were our sentiment was very different. And at that point in time, we didn't even think that come Diwali, come festive season, how things would be. It was a very mixed kind of a feeling at that point in time. But I strongly
Agree.
believe it is the resilience. I think the human resilience is a very, very important aspect which we cannot ignore. Second wave was bad for India. There is not. I'm sure all of us know people, and we have families where we have lost someone or the other. So
That's
it was a
true.
very gloomy kind of a thing. But I think now people are wanting to come out of this. People are wanting to come out and celebrate and enjoy and live the moment. And when now there are lesser restrictions and more possibilities of stepping out, people are doing it. So if you want to call it a revenge, or you want to call it just a pent up demand, it all depends what we want to call it.
Retail, we like
But
to indulge in retail therapy.
yes, retail therapy. It makes you feel good, and people
Mm,
are doing that. So for me, the way I look at it, I call it, the mantra to kind of celebrate the now. People are not saying, "Abhi
yeah.
kal kya karna hai, parson kya karna hai." I'm not worried about it. It is about the now. I want to live it up. I want to live life. Let me go and enjoy. So there is a shift in sentiment. So people are buying more. People are moving towards consuming more, and I guess it is also wanting a need to feel feel
Mm.
fulfilled, wanting to feel that you have reached somewhere, and there is more to life than just being gloom and doom, which we all have been through, and rightfully so. Why not? So there is a shift, but I would
Mm.
think that last year and pandemic has made us think definitely a lot more about slow fashion, consumption, sustainability, and doing our part to planet. I certainly think that has changed.
No, I think that's something very important you mentioned, and I completely agree with that because even today when I speak to friends and family, they're all actually moving towards that, and that mindset has changed
Yeah,
of people.
yeah.
So, so having said that, when it comes to practicing preserving the environment or creating a more sustainable environment, are there even some sort of practices adapted by Titan that they have taken up?
Absolutely. So if you look at sustainability, I like to think about that all of us, we need to leave this planet in a better place for the generations to come. Very simply put. And I think it is an
Yeah.
individual responsibility. It is also a collective responsibility. So as a very responsible corporate, Titan has always been at it. I mean, even today we are supposed to do a lot of things, but even otherwise, for the last 33 years of existence, Titan has always practiced it. And as we speak, there are two things. There is various things to be done as part of the SDGs, but two things which Titan works on seriously. One is reducing the carbon footprint. The other is about
Mhm.
conserving water. These are two
Amazing.
important
Yeah.
things. Yeah, and these are very, very important part of our existence, and it's almost like a way of life in the company. See, I also feel that, sustainability is not just launching one eco-friendly line and calling it, yeah, we are eco-friendly.
That's true.
As much as it is an integral part, the whole process needs to change, the backend needs to change, and every bit has to be sustainable for you to, have that kind of a result. So from a water point of view, Titan believes that, the processes are in place at our factories to ensure that the water consumption is lower, increasing the water table, having a Miyawaki forest, even the lake next to our corporate office. I mean, it's the Veerasandra Lake in Electronic City, Bangalore. We have
Yeah.
adopted it, and you must sometime any of you should come and see it. What a beautiful lake it has become. So these are small
Amazing.
things we don't really talk about, but Titan has done that. And even in terms of reducing carbon footprint, so or looking at alternate energy sources, looking at how we can reduce power consumption, all of that. So there's a lot of work happening on that front, and Titan is of course committed to make a difference in the way we work.
That's amazing. I mean, in fact, one of the recent companies also in the diamond industry, I saw that they've started making basic changes like making and ensuring that, the power is not consumed, over-consumed. So
Right,
switching off the
right.
laptops, computers,
Absolutely.
just little small things start making a difference within the company itself.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, Titan being a homegrown brand, uh, how do they support vocal for local? It must be a big thing within the company itself.
In fact, I would say vocal for local has become a slogan now, after
Yeah.
after Prime Minister launched it. But Titan has been practicing this for ever since we've been there. See, Titan is a large company. We are into multiple businesses: watches, jewelry, eyewear, as I said, accessories. And for most of our businesses, we have a very large manufacturing setup. We have our own factories. We produce a lot of things. We also work with a lot of MSMEs who produce our components, and they are all based out of India. So a lot of across most of our product categories, a lot of what we consume is all manufactured locally. And let me take an example since we're talking about jewelry, more about jewelry today. So if you look at the jewelry business, it's 100%. It's almost everything is manufactured here. And we are not just about manufacturing here, but we have taken a step ahead and we have also gone about empowering the life of the karigars. We have something called the Karigar
Mm.
Park, Karigar Center, wherein we provide them with the workspace, the lifestyle changes, all of that to make this profession more attractive, because these karigars are talented people. We need
Yeah.
generations of karigars to continue to remain and not just move to a BPO or another software job. And to do that, we have to make their job also as aspirational. And Titan has taken the first step in ensuring that we make it aspirational. We empower the life and elevate them, and that's definitely the work. So along with vocal for local, we are also empowering lives of these carriers.
That is fantastic, and that's a wonderful initiative taken. I mean, and I didn't know about this myself, so it's really great to know. And I think a lot of the audience listening to it here would also get inspired listening to what you've been saying.
Thanks.
So tell me, I mean, Tanishq has been in the business for years. There would have been situations where the company would have had its own ups and downs, and there would have been ways they've dealt out of it and come back as a stronger brand and people's favorite. So how did that happen? How did the company deal with these things?
So Tanish today is 25 years old. In fact, it is this year when Tanish turned the beautiful 25-year-old lady,
How lovely!
as we like to
Congratulations.
say that. Thank you. And and Tanish over years has really become an iconic brand, and it is
Yeah,
India's fastest growing jewelry brand, and
that's true.
specifically known for its craftsmanship, quality, and design. And Tanish really stands for that. And as you said, it's a very interesting question, and every brand in its lifetime has got its own ups and downs. And Tanishq had
That's
its
true.
one, two early days when Tanishq was just about launched, and it was struggling. The first 7 years were difficult to establish, and there were certain innovations and certain first time in the marketplace practices which were brought in, and which made a lot of difference to the brand Tanishq. And one such thing I'd like to touch upon is the carat meter, which was introduced with the
Mm,
task of bringing in transparency in the business of jewelry. And that carat
that's true.
meter, it was a great innovation, and it kind of turned the fortunes of Tanishq. And also, not only that, it made a great impact in the jewelry industry. Today it is a practice across. You will see all jewelers having it, but it was then when we started it. It was the first time. It made a very fundamental difference. The other
Yeah.
thing about Tanishq is, over years, we believe in building a bond with the consumer. So the whole emotional connect with our consumer and building this whole fact on a trust, transparency, and design. And that's a long bond we have established with our consumers. And all of this done through, of course, various innovative ways and, all of that which makes a difference. And what I spoke about just now in terms of empowering lives of carigars, that is another important initiative, which for the first time Tanishq had done, which made a difference to the whole supply chain and the Karigar community. Likewise, there are many initiatives. If I talk about the recent one last year, some of the new things is the digital leap we have taken and things like that. That I'm sure many people have done. But few things which are there fundamentally in the brand which we have taken forward had made a lot of difference. And today Tanishq is of course a strong brand to reckon with in the Indian context and also soon in the global context, I guess.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's a brand that pretty much almost every Indian would know, and especially jewelry lovers. They can't miss it.
Yeah. It's great to know.
So,
Yeah.
so tell me, what steps have Titan taken as, to innovate themselves with different kind of products? And do you see more light in, would you like to share some of the stuff that can be more innovative with the coming times?
Sure. See, innovation is really part of our core DNA, and it's even part of our vision statement. So, being innovative and bringing innovation in every aspect of life. So, at Titan, we really focus on product innovation, process innovation, business model innovation as a strategy. So, that's the focus. So, coming to design, and since you're also talking about design today, I strongly
Yeah.
believe that design and innovation, I mean, they coexist. It's nothing one without the other. So can you imagine a great innovation is done, but it has to be designed in a great product to be taken to the consumer for the consumer to look at it and say, wow, great.
Yes.
I mean, when the
Yes.
first time your whatever iPod happened, but great thought, but finally transferred
Yeah.
into a great product to show you that innovation.
That's true.
Similarly, when you talk about design, design has to innovate. Always design innovation is important to come up with something which can be, which is truly transformational and which can be, lead the consumer. So they go together. So if we were to look at, just let me think of one or two examples to give you. The recent times, last year, of course, during COVID, and a category like eyewear, all of us tend to, wear eyewear, remove
Yeah.
eyewear, place it here, place it there, and we were so worried of surfaces, right? Contamination
Yes.
in COVID. So we came
Yes.
up with this thought. It was a very quick innovation, a difficult one, multiple collaboration in a quick time. We came up India's first, frames which with antimicrobial properties. So that was an
Wow.
innovation. It was need of the hour. It had to be done
Yes.
quickly, and it was done.
That's true.
That is one such example. From a design point of view, I mean, last year was another great year when we won a Red Dot Award for our another eyewear design called Flex. It was a design innovation using material and craftsmanship which gave us that. A year before
Lovely.
that, we won the Red Dot Best of the Best for Tanishq for design innovation using a certain laser technology with design and all of that. So to say, yes, innovation is sitting there and everybody is constantly pushing that envelope of innovation to create fabulous concepts and products for our consumers.
Absolutely. I think that was like you just mentioned, it was the need of the hour, and it was so amazing to think of that immediately because at least to my knowledge, I haven't heard of any other eyewear brand having something like that within that much of time. I mean, I still don't know of one until now when you mentioned about Titan innovating that.
Yeah.
So that is fantastic. I think I'm also going to go check it out because when I wear my
Yes.
glasses, I need something like that.
Yeah, you must do that. Yeah.
Cool.
Great.
So moving further, tell me, how does Titan focus on consumer-driven design sensitivity in dynamic environments like now?
Yeah, see, the important thing is, the consumer centricity is again at the heart of everything we do. We start with the consumer and everything revolves around the consumer. So, understanding the consumer, her needs, her aspirations, her requirements, and all of
Yeah.
that. When I say her, I also mean him. Okay,
Yes.
so let's not let me be gender neutral. So the consumer piece is it's very important to understand the consumer and derive insights from them. Consumer is not going to tell you what you need to do or what you don't do, but always understanding the consumer, a deep driven research can draw insights which can help us take the right kind of decisions to create what kind of products so that we are able to lead the consumer. So that is
That's
one
true.
big part of our design journey, and an important step in our design process is about in-depth consumer immersion and understanding. The second thing what we do is, all of us are consumers and all of us are impacted by trends. I mean, we spoke about earlier about minimalism, we spoke about various, all of us are impacted by it, right? So always looking at trends, amplifying weak signals at the right time, and marrying it to the user insight is very another critical area which we constantly look at before we come up with some creation. And the third important thing is both of these when they come together with a great inspiration which is authentic, inspiration which is original, inspiration which can actually make this whole thing piece come together is really the secret sauce of our creations. And we are constantly looking at all of them are dynamic. The consumer is dynamic, the trends are dynamic, and bringing those two together, marrying it with a great inspiration which is of relevance with the times, is what results in creations like these, which makes a difference to people's lives.
Fantastic. So, since we're talking about trends and jewelry and innovation, India has a very diversified culture when it comes to jewelry. So, how does Tanishq, bifurcate the mix with the geographic span India when it comes to jewelry?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. India, one, it's a huge country. There are, we have so many states, so many cultures, so many, subcultures within this huge, one Indian culture, as we call it. And there are sub communities, and each community's requirements when it comes to jewelry is very different, depending on the occasion for which they are actually,
Yeah,
procuring it. And if you were to take one single occasion, which is largest consumer of jewelry in our country, is wedding. So if
yeah,
you were to look at, a Marwadi wedding, or you look at a Punjabi wedding, or a Andhra wedding, or a Tamilian wedding, everything is so different. I mean, there are commonalities, but there are a lot of differences. And wedding is a time when people do the bridal wear is all a lot more traditional. The family is into tradition, and what they seek is also traditional jewelry. So Tanishq has done
that's true.
this well. Tanishq, we have understood this requirement, and we provide, at depending on the stores you visit. If you go to a Southex in Delhi versus you go to a Dickinson in Bangalore, the assortment and the mix you will find would be totally different because it's catering to
Absolutely.
their requirement. So of course we do have specific regional products catering to their requirement. Of course, then we have our own, regular collections and, design driven and theme based products, all of that. So every assortment in every geography is curated to the needs of that particular catchment. And I think that is the science of merchandising, which helps us reach out to the consumer what they require at that point in time. So we have it all for
Yeah.
everyone, whoever wants to buy whichever kind of product
I
or
mean, kudos
whatever
to you for
occasion.
that because if I were to say, even within Bombay, like a South Bombay client would be very different to their needs in a
Absolutely.
North Bombay,
Yes, yes, you're
clientele.
right. You're
So
right.
having that within the country is
Yeah,
truly amazing.
that's very important, so that only then you can cater to the requirements of the consumers.
Absolutely. So now let's play a little game, which is a rapid
Mhm.
fire. I'm going to ask
Okay.
you some quick questions, and you have to
Hope you're
answer
not
them
going
really
to
quickly.
ask me some difficult ones.
No, 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 no. They're all very easy. So if we have to describe trends in 3 words in the last three decades, how would you describe them?
Okay, let's look at the one now, right now, 2020 onwards. The word which comes to my mind is digital transformation for this
Amazing.
2020
That's true.
onwards. 2010 to 2020, in my mind, it is very strongly, I think, India pride. I think we are all, as Indians, thanks to our Prime Minister, he made us all also very proud. And this thing, I
Absolutely.
think India
Yes.
pride was at its peak. 2000 to 2010, I would think it was about woman power, which continues even now, but it started
Yes.
there. I think these are the three for me.
Wow, that's a great combination. Okay. Three jewelry must-haves for a modern bride and groom.
Okay, the first and foremost for both the bride and the groom, I think a very, very beautifully designed, well refined, and elegant ring, very important
Yeah.
for both of them. A stunning neck piece for the bride and for the groom. It could be diamond, it could be polki, it could be any of those, but a very
Mhm.
stunning neck piece. And one unique piece. It could be a serpage for the groom, and it could be an amazing, unique nut for the bride.
Wow, that I in fact personally like nuts a lot, and they just make a different statement altogether.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
Okay, one piece of jewelry that Revati doesn't leave the house without.
Finger rings. I'm known for that. I love my finger rings. I
Oh,
never step out
lovely.
without one. Yeah, I wear these large, oversized finger rings, and I'm known for that. Yeah, I just love looking at
Fantastic. I actually wear this earring for I don't know how many years
it.
I've been wearing
Nice.
it for, but no matter which shoot I'm doing, but I'm always gonna have that earring on.
Yeah, that's your lucky charm, I guess, Prerna.
Yeah, probably. Okay, since let's talk a little about books. If you were to recommend us to read three books, one probably in business, one on design, and one in life, what would that be?
Business, it's a very different kind of a business book, but I just loved it. And I
Yeah.
think your listeners should also try it out. It is called The Go Giver. We all know of the Go
Okay.
Getter, but this is a Go
Yes.
Giver. It's a very different take on business. It's beautiful. You said design, right? Okay, since we're
Yeah.
talking more about jewelry today, I find this Indian jewelry book, The Dance of Peacock by Usha Balakrishnan, truly
Oh, yes.
amazing. Gives us a
Beautiful.
lot
Yes.
of history and everything you need to know about Indian jewelry.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
third was life, is it? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I'm a big fan of Eckhart Tolle. His book, The Power of Now, I think is most apt book to be read by all at this point in time. The Power of Now.
Lovely. Wow. So I've read The Dance with the Peacocks, but I'm going to read the other two for sure.
Yeah, yeah, please do.
Lovely. Okay, now since we're talking also about jewelry, one Indian jewelry trend that you think should go to the red carpet internationally.
I think this is a heartful, yeah. I really love this whole
Yeah,
concept of the Indian heartful, and it could be such a beautiful couture red carpet piece. I mean, we
that's
can
true.
just create amazing things with that. I think it's truly beautiful. The time is yet to come. I think that is one piece for me. Indian heartful can make really heads turn at the red carpet.
So this is a shout out to all the celebrity stylists who are on the live, who are watching the live. This is your turn to take the Indian jewelry to the red carpet now. So, since we've spoken about jewelry and jewelry for women, let's talk a little about gender neutral jewelry. What's your thoughts on that?
Actually, I used to think that historically, when we look at all our Maharajas and, historically looking at jewelry, I think men used to wear as much jewelry as women. I think those days jewelry was as unisex as it
Yeah,
could be. Those
that's true.
lovely emerald necklaces which the kings would wear. Today's women would love to wear something like that. So it used to be that.
Absolutely.
I don't know what happened in the process of transformation and evolution. The men have completely given up wearing jewelry, and now we are trying to tease them with very, very refined and contemporary pieces for them to come back to jewelry. But yeah, so coming back to where we are
Yeah.
today, I think simple pieces. I think I have noticed a lot of men who have taken to jewelry and started with simple pieces, simple peers. I mean, you can see, your as you showed yours,
Yeah,
there are a lot of men who are doing their ear piercings and body
that's true.
piercing. I think is a very basic thing which is very gender neutral. Rings, for example, women sporting larger rings, and that is another category which could go gender neutral. But yeah, it's a category needs to be explored in a big way and accepted by the society. So I think women have so much choice, and men today have maybe a limited choice. We need to open it out, and when this
Yeah,
becomes a prevalent thing, it would be great. Yeah.
absolutely. I think even for that matter, accessories play a big role because
Yeah.
men have started to somewhere explore with with jeweled belts or phones or pens, and I think that also is one of
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
categories that they can look up to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Right.
Cool, Revti. So it was wonderful chatting with you. I'm gonna see if from the audience anybody has any questions. Revti, is there something you would like to add before I'm trying to scroll if there are any questions from the audience?
No, absolutely, Prerna. It was fantastic talking to you. I think it was great chat, and to all your fans and to all your listeners, I think being optimistic is a great thing, and let's look forward to days which are safe, and all of us overcome this together and have a fantastic life ahead. Wishing everyone great best wishes to all.
Thank you so much. Before we sign out, I'm gonna take a quick picture of us over here. Okay, there's a question from yeah, there is a question here. What would you recommend for designers? There's Johnny asking that.
Okay, Jania, I don't know if you're a jewelry designer or industrial designer, whichever category of design you belong to. I would say
Jewelry
that,
designers. Sorry,
she's a jewelry
she's
designer.
there. Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. Great. If you're a jewelry designer, it's a fabulous time to be. There are so many opportunities. Jewelry as an industry is huge. And the most important part as a designer, you must know that jewelry has moved away from being an investment to an adornment, and hence design plays a very important role in creating those beautiful masterpieces which people are able to wear on a daily basis. And I think that's important. We don't want jewelry sitting in the lockers, right? We want jewelry
That's
for
true.
people to wear the jewelry and really sport the jewelry. And so I see a fabulous future for jewelry designers and designers per se, because there is so much of a demand supply gap in our country. And
Yeah.
we spoke about local for vocal. I mean, that takes me to Make in India. So Make in India without design in India is just not going to happen. So to me, it's going to be a big thing which is waiting to happen. And a big shout out to all the designers and the design fraternity to come together and really leverage this opportunity. We may not even get this again. There is so much happening in favor of India, and design now is the time for design in India. So, on that note, Johnny, I hope you got your answer. You got it all right. Enjoy and have fun.
Thank you so much, Revati. It was amazing chatting with you, and I'm so looking forward to meeting you in person. Now I'm going to
Sure.
come back to
We will.
Bangalore and definitely meet you soon.
Yes. We will meet soon, Prerna. We will meet soon. Thank you
Uh,
so much for hosting me today. It was a fabulous evening. Thank
Pleasure's
you.
all
Thank you,
mine.
everybody.
Thank you,
Bye bye.
guys, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.